Hey, what's up, you guys? WWE fan 0599 here again, and today we're going to review It Follows. So, It Follows stars Micah Monroe, I believe, and what this film is about. It's about this disease that's spraying around. If you get this disease, this thing will follow you around, and when this guy gives Micah Monroe this disease, this thing is now following her around, and if she doesn't pass this disease along to somebody else, she's practically dead. So what I think of It Follows. This was pretty good. I did really enjoy It Follows. It was a good horror film in my opinion. Now, I don't check out that many horror films nowadays. To me, modern horror stinks. All it is just a bunch of jump scares and, found footage, and it's just, what's the point? I didn't even review that many horror films last year. Like, I didn't review Annabelle, I didn't review Ouija, I didn't review The Quiet Ones, I barely even reviewed any horror films last year. The only one I did was See No Evil 2. But, this movie was actually good. And, so yeah, let's get into my positives, and my positives are the acting. The acting's actually pretty good in this movie, surprisingly, for a horror film. Micah Monroe was great. By far the best actor of the entire movie. She really was. She was great in this movie. She was also in one of my other favorite movies of last year, The Guest. So it was great seeing her in this movie because she was great in that movie too. So she's great in this movie. I really enjoyed her in this movie. By far the best actor out of everybody. I know a lot of people have said their friends are not really that good. I actually didn't mind their friends. They were fine in the movie, like Micah Monroe's sister in the movie, I thought was good. She was good. Their friend was good too. We'll get into the other kid afterwards. And there's just like this this like type of bad boy type kid who was actually pretty good too. So the acting overall is pretty good. So yeah. Some of the creepy imagery, you get some imagery that's pretty creepy, like when when this thing is following her, it's actually pretty creepy, So, I will admit this movie's not scary. It's not scary. It's not like something that's going to make you have nightmares for the next 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying? But, it's more of a psychological horror than it's a horror, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I did like some of that. The music is great. It feels like a 1980s type track, and it was great. I loved it, It was just so great. I love the music with this movie. The writing is pretty good with this movie. I did like the writing. The directing, oh my, the directing. The directing was so beautiful with this movie. That is by far the best thing of this movie is the directing. The directing is so amazing. This is one of the best directed films of the year, in my opinion. It's so beautifully directed, in my opinion, I just love the way they directed that, the director directs It Follows. I forgot his name, but he does such a great job directing It Follows. I want to see him direct more films, so yeah. The pacing was pretty good for the most part. We'll get more into that after, so yeah. Those were my positives with It Follows. Now let's get into my negatives, because I do have a few negatives with this movie. And, my negatives are, there was this one kid that was just not annoying, but he was just weird, and I didn't really find his character, just necessary. And his name was Paul, and he's I'm gonna be honest, he's obsessed with Micah Monroe. He just wants to get with her, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just thought his character was weird, and I didn't really like his character. It's not like I despised his character or anything, like he's one of the worst characters of this year. No, not at all, but I just didn't like his character because it was just so weird, and whenever it felt like he was being obsessive, over her. So yeah. The pacing is, yeah, the pacing was slow at parts, like it would get boring, and I would be like, can we pick it up a bit? So yeah. And finally, there were some unnecessary jump scares. Not a lot, but there was some that was like, really, you had to throw that in there because it was working so great as a psychological horror film, and then they had to throw in some of the jump scares, and I just was like, really? So yeah. But overall, It Follows. It was a good horror film. I enjoyed it. So yeah. So it's time for my official grade on It Follows, and my official grade on It Follows is a B plus. I enjoyed this movie. I say check it out. It was a good horror film. So yeah, It Follows is getting a B plus. So what'd you guys think of It Follows? Leave in the comment section below. And I'm WWE Fan 0599, and we'll see you all later. Peace.